If you like eggnog, then today you are in for a treat because we are making this eggnog cheesecake with tons of cinnamon flavor, tons of nutmeg flavor, tons of eggnog flavor. And I mean, if you don't like eggnog, then try it anyway. You might love this eggnog cheesecake. We're not wasting no time today. Let's get right into the video. First thing we're going to do is make our graham cracker crust. Get yourself one of these graham cracker boxes, 1 stick of salted butter, 3 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, and some ground nutmeg. Now we're going to need about 2 1/4 cups of graham cracker crumbs, which is probably going to be about 2 to 3 of these graham cracker sleeves. Now, you know, I got a little tiny food processor, so I have to work in batches. So I'm going to add my graham cracker crumbs, crush them up a little bit, add them to my food processor, and post them until you got your graham cracker crumbs. It should look like sand, basically. And keep in mind, you can crush them by hand. If you don't have a food processor or you don't want to clean it, just put them in a Ziploc bag and use a rolling pin or something like that. And don't forget, the full recipe, amounts, ingredients will be in the description below. And while you're looking around, be sure to thumbs up, like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not, and share this video so we can build this community. Empty your graham cracker crumbs into a bowl, and then into a separate bowl. Yeah, I know it's tedious. We're going to measure out 2 1/4 cups of your graham cracker crumbs, and don't worry if you have any left over, just save that for your next cheesecake. To that, add 3 tablespoons of white granulated sugar and half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Give that a little mix, a little pre-mix if you will. And then we're going to add half a cup of butter melted. And then grab a fork and get to mixing. Now, you know how I said your graham cracker crumbs should sort of look like sand? Well, this mixture should sort of look like wet sand. Talk about a tongue twister. I can't even say that straight. Once your mixture is mixed up in the consistency you need, grab a 9-inch springform pan, add your mixture to the pan. Now, I made a lot of cheesecakes in my day, and trust me, I've got the belly to prove it. So this next step is kind of second nature to me, but if you've never done it or you're a beginner, I suggest that you go easy and just take your time. We're pressing down our graham cracker crumbs and forming our crust. Now, me, I like to start with a fork, and then halfway through, switching over to something with a flat bottom like a glass or a jar, or even like one of those measuring cups with the flat bottoms, and in the middle, pressing down and simultaneously pushing some of the crumbs to the side to later form up the sides of our springform pan to create the sides of our crust. And once I got the bottom squared away and nice and flat, I'll start using the sides of that glass to press the crumbs up the side of the springform pan to create the sides of the crust. Now, once you got something that you like, something that you're proud of, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as you're happy with it and you're proud of it. We're going to bake this 325 degrees for 10 minutes. Once it's out of the oven, let this cool slightly, and then we're on to making our filling. Okie dokie cowpokes, it's time to make our filling. Into a mixing bowl, we're going to add 24 ounces of cream cheese, room temperature and softened, please. To that, add 1 cup of granulated sugar and 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Then put that into your stand mixer, or with a hand mixer. We're going to beat this on low speed until everything is well combined. After that, scrape down your paddle attachment and the sides of the bowl. Then we're adding our secret, not so secret, kind of obvious secret ingredient, but you don't know the amounts, but I'm about to tell you right now. 1 cup of eggnog and 1 teaspoon of rum extract, or if you're feeling frisky, you can add the real thing, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Let that mix on low speed until everything is well combined. Scrape everything down again. Then we're adding 4 large eggs, also at room temperature. Add your eggs one at a time, and then let the mixer mix each of that in well until you add your next egg. Wow, that was a really complicated, long way of saying beat well after each egg. After each egg is added, we are going to scrape everything down, and then that's it. We are almost time to bake. And today we are using a water bath method to bake our cheesecake. So the first thing we are going to do is securely wrap our styrofoam pan in some aluminum foil to prevent leakage. 2 pieces of aluminum foil should do it. You want to make sure the bottom is tightly covered. Go around and wrap that aluminum foil all the way up to the top of that springform pan. Grab a second piece of aluminum foil if you need it, and make sure that bottom is securely covered. Okay, you don't want any water getting in there and ruining all your hard work. Place your crust into a larger pan. This is a cake pan, but anything that's larger, oven safe, and will hold water will work, like a roasting pan or something like that. And finally, add your filling to your crust. And then carefully fill your pan with warm water. You want to go to about halfway up the side of your cheesecake. Now, the baking directions I will put in the description below. You're going to bake at 300 degrees for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Then turn off the heat and keep the door closed for 30 minutes. Then crack the door open and keep it inside with the door open for another 30 minutes. After that, carefully remove it from the water bath and let it cool to room temperature on the counter. Then place it in the fridge to chill overnight. After that, you could serve your cheesecake as is, but let's make it even more special by making some homemade whipped cream. I got my stand mixer bowl and my whisk attachment, which I both placed in the freezer 30 minutes before making this whipped cream. And we're adding 1 cup of some very cold, heavy whipping cream. Now, you could also, if you wanted to, add 3 tablespoons of eggnog to this heavy cream to give the whipped cream even a more stronger eggnog flavor, but the cheesecake does have a really strong eggnog flavor, so I didn't want to overdo it with the eggnog flavor, so I didn't add it. So next, we're going to add 10 tablespoons teaspoons of powdered sugar to sweeten this up. And I'm going to add a pinch of cinnamon, about 1/4 teaspoon. Add your bowl to your stand mixer and beat on high speed until stiff peaks start to form. Add your whipped cream to the top of your cheesecake and smooth that out. Then let this chill out in the fridge until you're ready to serve. And that's it. Your eggnog cheesecake is fully complete. Now, stick around if you want some tips on slicing this. Now, one of the things I like to use to help me cut my cheesecake is this marker. It is double-sided, so it gives you the option for 10 slices or for 12 slices. I usually go with 10 because I like a big, thick slice. Just press it down and then lift it, and it will show you exactly where to cut so that all your slices are even in the same size. And a nice, sharp knife is definitely a necessity. Now, an important thing. After you cut, your knife is definitely going to come out dirty. It's just how it is. So, to ensure that you get nice, clean cuts on both sides, take your knife, run it under some hot water, dry it off, and then go in for your next slice. And it's always easier to get the first slice out after you cut 2 or 3 or more slices. And there you go, super nice clean cut slices. And that's it for this eggnog cheesecake recipe. And that's it for this video. That's it for me in this video. Be sure to like, comment, and share with a friend, and be sure to subscribe so I can see you in the next video.